After being nearly blinded in one eye, Imran Khan has made his biggest allegation against Asim Munir and the Pakistan Army so far, telling his sisters that he is convinced that he will be killed in jail. This as 14 cricketing legends have now put their names to a letter asking for dignity and security to be provided for the cricketing hero turned politician. Significantly, not a single Pakistan cricket captain is on this list, although after the furor, Wasim Akram and Waqar Yunus have made some feeble statements in support of Imran Khan. Is Imran Khan's life in danger? It is already medically established that he has lost 85% of his vision in one eye, and yet he has been denied access to his own doctors. His sisters have now gone on record to say that they are receiving threats from Mohsin Naqvi, the all-powerful minister in the Pakistan government, as well as the head of Pakistan's cricket board. I'm Barkha Dutt. You're with the Mojo story. On the program today, Imran Khan is a name we all know in the subcontinent. We may not have always agreed with his political policies. In fact, as Indians, we've often disagreed, but we have all at one point or the other admired his cricketing prowess and his sheer charisma. Now, Imran Khan is not just in jail for several months, in fact, years. His life, he says, is in danger. His sister has come out to speak to the media and directly pointed a finger at two powerful men, Pakistan's Field Marshal and the all-powerful Minister Mohsin Naqvi, who also manages cricket in Pakistan. Speaking to the media, Imran Khan's sisters have said that Imran Khan has plainly told them that he will be killed. At least 14 cricketing heroes have now put their names to a letter asking for Imran Khan to be ensured safety, security, and dignity. No Pakistani is on this list. Is Imran Khan's life in danger? And what does it tell us about what's happening within Pakistan? And also, one must ask, why is the world looking away? Let me introduce our two guests on the program today as we continue to look at what Imran Khan's tragedy tells us about Pakistan. Salman Ahmed is back with us. We know him, of course, as a leading musician. He's also a vociferous supporter of Imran Khan and has stood in his corner through some very difficult times. Thank you, Dr. Salman Ahmed, for joining us. Tavleen Singh, senior journalist, author, columnist, is with us. Somebody who has also looked at Pakistan journalistically and traveled there and also reported from Pakistan quite often. Welcome to the program. I want to start by playing out what Imran Khan's sister has said. Her brother told her when she met him in prison, the gravest allegation so far from Mr. Khan himself, that his life is in danger. Take a look.
और मैंने कहा मैं नहीं करूंगी, मगर आज जब ये सारी मैं चीजें देखी हैं और जो उनकी हालत है, उन्होंने मुझे कहा, कहते ये मुझे मार देंगे, इन्होंने मुझे मारने का प्लान किया है और आसिम मुनीर इसका जिम्मेदार होगा। और मैंने कहा मैं क्यों कहूँ मार देंगे, कहते कहो कि मुझे मार देंगे, ये मुझे मार रहे हैं, ये मुझे मार देंगे। तुम सोचे अब जो ये सब कुछ हो रहा है, जिस तरह हर चीज और जो जैसे ये मोहसिन नकवी जैसा इंसान बातें कर रहे हैं, अब मुझे यकीन है ये मार देंगे।
So a very direct statement there, Salman. She's in fact saying that earlier when he would tell me that, you know, they're going to kill me, go out and say that, I would not do it. But like she's now convinced that this is serious. She's naming Mohsin Naqvi, she's naming names, she's named Asim, and Imran Khan has clearly said that if I am killed in prison, Asim Munir will be responsible for that. And that's a pretty big statement. This deserves a lot more attention. Why is the response so muted?
So, Barkha, the statement that you played of Dr. Uzma, one could say, well, she's a sister of Imran Khan and, you know, she's emotional. But this is the same thing that the over 50 US lawmakers have written a letter on December 3rd, 2025 to Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, saying that Asim Munir and his, functionaries are practicing transnational repression, gross violations of human rights, and a former prime minister, they named Imran Khan in it, has been illegally incarcerated. The same thing is what the UN working group has said, that Imran Khan's detention is arbitrary and he should be released with reparations. So, and the European Union has made similar noises. The entire, and you shared just the 14, that statement by the 14 captains. I mean, these are legends of cricket. They're all saying, "What are you doing? Stop the
But
murder
not
of
a but
Imran."
not but not a single Pakistani on that list.
Well, because last time when I was on your show, I mentioned to you perhaps Pakistan has become even more authoritarian than North Korea. People fear for their lives. These sisters, I mean, I take my hat off to Imran Khan's sisters. They are the only ones who are out there fearlessly, and they get death threats daily. This was Dr. Uzma. Imran Khan's other sister, Aleema, said that they said we're going to kill you. And now they're saying we don't care. We just want to save our brother. And what are they asking for? Barka, they're asking that he has a prisoner's right to his own physician, a hospital, a treatment, humanitarian treatment. That's what the 14 test captains, including Sunil Gavaskar and Kapil Dev, have said. I mean, can you imagine that a man who has made 3 cancer hospitals for Pakistan, built universities, is known globally, is the most famous Pakistani ever, in a death cell? And they only took him when he started screaming about the pain in his right eye. He's lost 85% of the sight in his right eye. So this is cruel, inhumane treatment.
Yeah. And, I'm struck by how you said that Imran Khan is the most famous Pakistani worldwide. I think that's true. And I think it's sort of cross generational. And Tavleen, I think many of us have known Imran Khan before he was a politician, before he was Pakistan's prime minister. I'm sure you have met him several times, as have I, in our journalistic capacity. When you sort of hear his sister saying Imran Khan said they're going to kill me and Asim Munir is going to be responsible for my murder, are those words you see as rhetorical, or are those words you would take very seriously?
I would take them seriously, but I also want to tell you that I've actually known him as a friend before I knew him as a cricketer. I met him in 1975 in Delhi, and we became friends. And, I've really been quite a close friend of his for a very, very long time. And the thing about him that I think the world is not aware of, I mean, his politics is sometimes kind of, a little bit crazy, but he has a real desire to do something for Pakistan. And, he's shown huge courage in taking on an army that, as you know, executed a prime minister, right? I mean, these military guys, once they begin to feel that they're being defied, then there's no stopping them. And I really feel that we should have all spoken out earlier, even before the cricket captains did. Because, when Bhutto was hanged, Indira Gandhi was out of power. And Morarji Desai refused to say anything. And the Americans refused to do anything. We could have all stopped it. And if Imran is now allowing his sisters to openly say that they're going to kill him, we must take it very seriously. And because it's our immediate neighborhood, we really, I feel a bit bad that actually our own government hasn't said anything yet. Because it would have, as the democracy in this subcontinent, we should have spoken up earlier.
You actually believe that the government of India should take a position on this?
I think so. I think
Tell me more.
So, well, I actually am very saddened by the fact that we haven't spoken up for Aung San Suu Kyi. For, India is supposed to be the most powerful democracy in this part of the world. Why don't we speak up? Why don't we speak up? We have for Sheikh Hasina, but it was more of a political move than a humanitarian.
I mean, I suppose the argument would be that Imran Khan, because as Pakistan's prime minister, had a somewhat adversarial relationship with the same India, where previously he had many, 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 many friends.
Well, a Pakistani prime minister, in fact, any Pakistani prime minister, necessarily has an adversarial relationship with India because it's the military that controls foreign policy. So, whenever a Pakistani prime minister tries to befriend India, like Nawaz Sharif did, he's curbed by the military. The military believes that India is an existentialist threat to Pakistan. Actually, they use India to keep spending more and more money on on arms, on weaponry and stuff like that, and on themselves. The corruption levels in the Pakistani army are horrendous. So we're dealing with a very bad country, with a very bad country. But I think that we, as the democracy in this area, in this region, should speak up.
Salman, respond to that. I mean, India-Pakistan relations are pretty much at their nadir, but Tavleen is making the point that history documented that Zulfikar Bhutto was hanged, and perhaps if there was more noise, it could have been stopped. I want to talk about what the Americans are up to. You spoke about American lawmakers, right? Imran Khan's sons have been trying to make noise in the United Kingdom. They've been trying to get where they live. They've been trying to get to meet him, not been allowed, as far as I know, to meet him. What is actually going on between Trump's favorite, as he called it, Field Marshal Asim Munir, and is that linked to the very muted response from the Trump administration to the Imran case?
Well, Barkha, what just Tavleen said, to raise a humanitarian appeal for a democratically elected prime minister is not crossing any red lines or interference in the internal affairs of Pakistan. Look, this neighborhood has great potential. I mean, in the subcontinent. So Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, it's 25% of the Earth's population live here, right? And democracy is the only way that we can uplift our people. Democracy is the only way we can achieve peace and stability. Democracies don't fight nuclear wars against each other. So, what does Imran Khan represent? He represents the voice of 250 million Pakistanis. If you allow the murder of that leader, you're killing democracy in Pakistan, and you are then fomenting radicalism, because that's what will happen. If he dies in jail, the extremists will take over Pakistan. There will be great bloodshed. As you can already see what's happening. There was a bomb blast in Islamabad last week at Imam Barga. So Imran Khan is, like as I said to you, Barka, in the last show, he has approached his 30 years of politics with completely non-violent, political, peaceful protest, legalistic. The family has been going from pillar to post despite horrendous, violations of human rights. And America, as a Pakistani American, this is what we've told President Trump's
Can, can,
administration.
yeah, can I ask you whether you think there's a connection between the support that Pakistan has offered to Trump's so-called peace board, something that India has not agreed to be part of, as far as at least up until now, India has not agreed to be part of it. Is there a connection? Is there some, you fear, some sort of behind the scenes deal? Let us, Imran is our business. Don't comment on it. We'll do what you need, in the Middle East, in West Asia, as we call it.
So, Barka, first of all, Pakistan and India came out of an anti-colonial struggle for freedom, right? But what
Yeah.
happened, unlike India, Pakistan still behaves as a colony. And instead of the British Raj, it looks at America. And why was that? Because a few generals saw that they can control the population and they can make deals with America and the West. And that's exactly what's happened. Pakistani Americans actually voted for President Trump because most of the noises that were being made during the campaign was that we will free Imran Khan. But what happened was that whole advocacy was hijacked by the field marshal, or who self-appointed field marshal. went and told President Trump at a lunch in June that I will provide you non-existent oil, uh, minerals, crypto, Bagram airbase. He made promises that he can't keep. And he also lies both to China and the United States, but he caught the ear of the President Trump because he said, I will be providing hired guns for this Gaza project, and which I think is huge folly because it's a colonial style project. It's not sanctioned by the United Nations, and I think India has wisely stayed out of it. I hope they do stay out of it because our struggle has been anti-colonial. This is an imperial project. What are we saying? You know that we don't want occupation in our own countries, but we'd like to go and occupy other countries. It's a fool's errand.
Tavleen, I want to bring you in. There have been previous political leaders in Pakistan who have clashed with the Pakistani deep state, with the Pakistan army, and they've chosen exile. Quite often, Nawaz Sharif went into exile. Benazir went into exile, and when she came back, she was assassinated. That's the truth, and she too believed. She too believed that there was an army and an ISI link to her killing. Imran Khan could have gone into exile. His supporters say that that offer has been made to him and he's turned it down. Everything that you know about Imran personally, does that strike you as the kind of thing Imran would do, not go quietly into exile?
He would never do that. That's the problem with him. Do you know, I mean, this man has an overdeveloped sense of honor, the like of which I've rarely seen. Do you know, I mean, I really have known him very well, and I've been friends with him beyond the journalistic association, etc. And he had this dream. It may not have been a dream that he could fulfill, but I really think that he believes that he can do something, that he can make Pakistan a proper democratic country, that that it will for the people of Pakistan. So I think that he would see that as a huge betrayal. I mean, the Imran that I've known, I can't see him doing a deal. I really can't.
Well, then here's the question: do you really worry, as his friend, that he could be killed?
Yes, I do. And I've mentioned before Alexei Navalny. Now it's been proved this week that Navalny was poisoned. And something similar is happening to Imran. And really, I would be very proud of our government if we got up and said that. Our problem with Pakistan is not with its people, and certainly not with its democratically elected leaders. Our problem with Pakistan is the Pakistani army. And we should, as often as we can, speak out against that army. It's an evil, evil outfit. I mean, it really is probably the most evil army in, I don't know, in history. It is. These generals are totally venal. They're there for themselves. They couldn't care less about their people.
I want to welcome Atul Vasan to the show. Atul, we're at the tail end of our conversation. We missed you, but let me bring you in for some perspective on what is being felt and spoken about in the cricketing community. We've seen 14 cricketing greats speak up. Not a single Pakistani on that list. Tavleen and Salman have just been telling us about how Imran Khan would never cut a deal. He's gone on record to say that he could be killed in prison. Cricketers are speaking out. Do you want to share your feelings at this point?
I think it doesn't really matter because, this, I know from close quarters because I've been talking to many of the players I meet, former players. And, the narrative there is that we can't do anything about it. And, if in Pakistan to listen to us is going to happen in a month without Sundays. So I think because of all these captains, you think it's going to make a matter? No. Where are the Pakistani greats? Why is nobody speaking up? Because everybody is scared of the regime. It's a banana republic. So that's the point, and everybody knows what's happening. And can you imagine in the backdrop of what the team is doing, and this Imran Khan, one of the greatest players, is rotting in jail. But that is their own, ecosystem, and we can't actually comment on that because they might just put fingers on us also. But I think players from Pakistan don't have the guts or the locus standi to speak up against, because in Pakistan everything is connected. The military, the regime, and the board, and everything is one. So I think you have to you can't be more loyal than the king.
You know, you make a great point about everything being connected, because the man who runs the Pakistan Cricket Board, Mohsin Naqvi, is also a powerful minister, and Imran Khan's family is saying they're getting threats from him. So it's actually a really superb point that you make about the interconnectedness of that. Just tell us, what are you picking up from, because you must know so many of them. What are you picking up from them? Do they think that Imran's life is in danger? Are they scared for their own lives? Are they scared of this man called Mohsin Naqvi? And then look at how much pressure he's put his own team under. Look at how they performed against India. Obviously, Indians are delighted, but everything is interconnected.
Yeah, I think it's their culture actually, because they have they said if you can't if you don't win against somebody, you have to die. You can't just survive. That's the problem. And when what I've been told that when he got out and the big public rally happened, he was told to go back home, and he said, okay, I'll go back and regroup. That's the biggest mistake. And I was told that if he kept on sitting there, this would have been a different thing. It could have been another Jasmine, that revolution which was happening. But in Pakistan, to do that, the problem is that the सबसे नालायक बच्चे के हाथ में एक बंदर के हाथ में उसरा है. So the nuclear weapon is just giving them the gravitas that all the Arab countries are just giving them the money, and they feel that they can do whatever they want. And I think even Donald Trump is actually cozying up to them in spite of what happened in Sindoor. So that also rubbed our nose in the dust also. And I think
Yeah.
so the unless we can get the whole world narrative behind us, I think what is happening to Imran is very sad. But unless the people rise up, nothing's going to happen, because Imran was somebody who called a spade a shovel. And I think that is the problem. In Pakistan, you can't do that. He thought he could just turn it over. But in Pakistan, you have to run with the wolves and hunt with the sheep. And I think
Yeah.
that's what happened, because he was always the guy. I played under him, I played with him, and I know his character. And what he has
How would
been
you
put in
how would
jail
you
for
describe
is
how would you
laughable.
describe
So
how would you describe his
that's
character?
the culture there.
No, how would you describe the Imran you knew? Can you hear me? Okay, let me get Salman to respond to what
I
Atul
can't
has
hear.
said. Let me get Salman to
I
respond to
can't
what.
hear.
Okay, if we can hear you, just reconnect. If you can, just reconnect. Salman, do you want to respond to what Atul has said? I think it's a great point about the interconnectedness, about how the Pakistan Cricket Board is not divorced from political power, is not divorced from the security establishment, and unless the cricketing heroes of Pakistan rise, unless the people of Pakistan rise, these 14 cricketers saying something is not going to make a difference.
So, Barka, I would just again go back, and Tavleen, I 100% agree with her when she says that he has an his sense of honor is such that prevents him from doing the things that politicians do. Like he won't go below the belt. The way local politics is, he always said, "Ki, look, we have to get better than everything. We've seen the dynastic parties of the Bhuttos and the Sharifs. We don't want to be like them. We want to be different." But he is way ahead as a human being. So what I would say at the moment is that we as South Asians, we have to see this. Like when I look at India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, I don't see them as different nation state. I see them as our people. And if one limb is hurt, if one limb has cancer, it's going to affect the entire body politic of the region. So Pakistanis right now are under the gun. Look, they stood up multiple times. Barka, on 8th of February 2024, despite the fact they took away Imran Khan's bat symbol, despite the fact that they incarcerated him in solitary confinement, over 80% of Pakistanis came out and voted for him. So they've expressed him, but they're not warriors. They can't fight a military machine. And when they
Yeah.
came out, Mohsin Naqvi ordered snipers to kill peaceful protesters. This was happened on November 26,
And and
2024.
and and he joked a few days ago that ये तो बहुत देखिए है, इनको तो संभालना आता है हमें. We know how to deal with these protests. Mohsin Naqvi, he actually said that on record.
इनके मुंह को खून लगा हुआ है. They have killed so many Pakistanis over the last 4 years. And I just want to add one other thing. This Epstein files, right, Barka? Well, Jeffrey Epstein in 2018, when Imran Khan became the prime minister, in one of his emails, he said that this is bad news, that he is more dangerous than Xi of China, than Putin of Russia, than Erdogan of Turkey, and Khomeini. I mean, so the point is, okay, why is Imran Khan such a danger? Because he's not a puppet. He's an independent-minded political leader. You know,
But
he's not.
he was called the golden boy of the Pakistan army for the years he was in the establishment.
Well, think about this, Barka. If you're a political leader, you don't want to go against your army. You want to tell the army that, look, your role is in the barracks. Your role is not to interfere into politics. That's what when he was the prime minister, he kept saying merit and accountability, merit and accountability. Didn't have favorites of, I'm going to put this general up or this one down. But the fact is that the Pakistan army, which is a few generals, right? Not the entire army. Few generals have been controlling Pakistan for 78 years.
Yeah, go ahead. Go
Yes.
ahead.
So what I'm saying is that India was able to, do its land reforms quickly after a partition. It was to make sure that the army doesn't interfere into democracy in politics. Pakistan has not been able to transition from that colonial mindset into a proper democracy.
Okay, I want to, Atul, I'm hoping you can. Can you hear me, Atul? Can you hear me? Atul, can you hear me? Atul, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't hear anything.
Okay, just if you can give your last thoughts and I'll give Tavleen the closing word. You say whatever you want to.
I cannot hear anything.
Okay, no problem. Sorry about that. I don't know why you can't hear me. Tavleen, I want to come to you. Atul made this point about, what's going to happen. 14 cricketers are speaking. It's not going to make any difference. This fight has to be Pakistan's fight. Pakistan's cricketers have to speak. We polled our audience. Global cricketing legends are speaking. Why are Pakistani cricketers mostly silent? And 72% of our audience says they're scared. They are scared of speaking out. Now, that's the bottom line, right? We're not going to be able to get much more from the Pakistanis. Salman said they've already spoken with their vote. They can't do much more. Just let me give you a last comment on this.
Yeah, I totally agree with Salman. What more can they do? These guys go out into the street and kill people. They kill their own generals if they're not towing the line. So, but you see, the reason why I keep emphasizing India's role, we keep saying we're the mother of democracy. We stand for democratic values. We stand against theocracies and military theocracies in particular. Why don't we say that? Why is it so difficult? Nobody is going to kill the Prime Minister of India if he says what's going on with a major democratically elected Pakistani leader is something we don't condone. Why can't we say that? Even if it doesn't make a difference to us, let's stand up for what we say we stand for. This poor man is going to be killed because he's had the courage to stand up for what he stood for. Sorry,
well, that's a grim thought to end the program on. Both Tavleen and Salman are convinced that Imran's life is really in danger. Atul, if you can hear me, I have time for a quick last word from you. Can you hear me? You can hear me.
You,
yeah, let me give you a quick closing comment. You were talking about having played with Imran Khan, having known him. Tavleen and Salman were earlier making the point that other Pakistanis have accepted going into. Can you hear me?
Sorry, I can't hear you again.
Okay, never mind. We'll do this. We'll call you another time.
I can just answer if you can hear me.
Yeah.
I know I can't hear you, but if you can hear me, I think we can discuss this till the cows come home. But unless the people and the big guns from Pakistan, actually, I know this is not going to happen. But at least they should make an effort. Somebody has to grow a spine in Pakistan because there's letter with all these captains and all. They will use it as toilet paper. I know these guys, and they are just so brazen that they will cut their face to spite cut their nose to spite their face. So now, when you go down this road, then they don't even bother what's going to happen to them. And I think the collateral damage are the people of Pakistan, the cricket team, as we see, because everybody's so scared. And who's going to tell that the emperor is nude?
That's the great question. Who's going to get up and say the emperor is nude? That the Pakistani establishment may use this letter written by the 14 cricketers as toilet paper. Everybody's terrified in Pakistan. Salman said that Pakistan is worse today than North Korea, and that's quite a thought to process. But imagine, let it sink in, that Imran Khan, somebody I think a generation of Indians grew up sort of following. Tavleen has been a personal friend. He could actually be killed in Asim Munir's Pakistan. And this is the time, as Atul Vasan says, for more people to grow a spine. We leave it there. Thank you very much. We hope this chapter has a different ending from the one it seems to be heading in the direction of. Dr. Salman Ahmed, Tavleen Singh, and Atul Vasan, thank you. And to our audience, thank you, and see you tomorrow. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.